just a quick addendum to go with the video blog spinal fascial release video I did. I realized after I watched the video myself that I wasn't clear in my instructions about what to do with where the wash rag is placed. So I just want to clarify that. All right. So laying down, you're going to lift your neck long. Find some extension in that cervical vertebrae, and then this is going to go kind of in the nape of your neck. So as I lay back, like the back of my head is not actually touching the floor, but is supported by that wash rag. It's kind of tucked in and nestled between my occiput and my lower cervical vertebrae. So, to show you sitting up what that looks like. So my occiput bones are right around here. You can actually take your fingers and kind of take them up along your neck, and when you come to those hard bony prominences, that is your occiput bones, okay? So when I take this laying down, I'm extending that cervical vertebrae, and then I'm placing this right at the base. I hope that was a helpful clarification. See you guys later. Bye. Hi, it's Tara here. Good morning. I have a couple of things for you this morning. One is just a short little video blog with some thoughts that I have to share with you that hopefully might be helpful to you. And then I'm not really going to take you step by step through the whole practice of like a nice spinal release and a neurotube release, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And the reason why I'm not just taking you through it is that there may be places that you want to hang out longer or less long, and it's a pretty simple thing. So I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then hopefully you'll be inspired to do it on your own. So first of all, my little thoughts about what we're all collectively going through right now. To start out with, I kind of identify as being an introvert. I don't really go out much. Like going to a concert is kind of not fun for me. I don't like being in places where there's a lot of people. So, you know, I have struggled a lot with a couple of things. One being is that I feel like I should be handling all of this so much better. I do have this so much better than a lot of people. And yet I'm still struggling through it. So this week, I actually reached out to one of my fellow yoga teachers, Amber Clyde, and we started out our little Facebook video coffee chat, you know, with the usual niceties. How are you doing? I'm doing well. You know, I have this better than most people, blah, blah. And then finally, at some point, I got real with her, and I kind of teared up and said, well, frankly, I feel like I'm not handling this very well. And then I beat myself up because I'm not handling this very well, and I think I should be. And we just had a really nice heart-to-heart talk. So one thing that I've realized through all of this is the importance of the power of human connection. And once again, I have it better than some people. I have a tremendous person to be, you know, self-isolated with, who is incredibly supportive. But whatever it is that I do get from the other limited interaction that I have outside of when we're self-isolating, obviously is essential for me because I feel like I haven't been handling things well. So I encourage you to reach out to somebody via video blog, your platform of choice. Texting just isn't the same. And then getting real with them. You know, just, I don't care if you feel like you do have it easier or you shouldn't be struggling. If you are, you know, feel free to let those feelings out. One thing that fascia, one thing I've learned about my studies of fascia is that we'll take our emotions and we'll stuff them down someplace. So if you're not acknowledging, really experiencing and then releasing those emotions in the moment, they're going to show up in your body at some point. So that's the first part of this. The second part of this is that I actually want to show you a really relaxing series of poses that you can do. If you're having trouble sleeping, it would be perfect before bed. So in class, I have, like, I call them playground balls. You know, we have all kinds of fun tools we use. But this is using props that everybody has at home. So the first thing I want to show you is just simply using a wash rag and a rubber band. So I'm taking the wash rag, folding it over once, folding it over a second time, and then rolling it up. And I actually may do a class with using things like this around your house in a similar way as I do in my props in my fascial class. But this is basically going to simulate the little playground balls that I call them, that I use. The second props are just a blanket. And I have mine opened like this because I have a pretty small torso. And then you can roll it up, and we'll get to what we're going to use that for. I want to show you this. If you happen to have a thick wool blanket around, this is the absolute best yoga blanket prop that you will have. And I bought a whole bunch of these probably 25 years ago. Obviously, you may not be able to go out shopping for one now, but if you have a stiff wool blanket around, they are perfect. So for the wool blanket, I don't necessarily roll it. I just accordion fold it like this. And they stay nice and stiff in a way that like the other blankets that you may have around the house wouldn't. The final prop, and I actually would usually use a block, but I'm using them to prop up my video right now. So real quick, I'm just going to grab a pillow or I'll just use this, actually. You can use a lot of different things just to support my head in some of the poses. So we're basically just going to use whatever you're choosing and another thing that works perfect, if you have a yoga mat, you can roll the yoga mat up and use it instead of a blanket, and it will have a little more stiffness to it. So I'm actually going to start here, and I'm going to come down, and I'm just going to lay my head, and so I want this to be relatively high for this first part. And then I'm going to lift, extend that cervical vertebrae, and then turn my head to one side. And then back to center, lift, extend, turn my head to the other side. Now when you're doing this position number one, you can do whatever you want with your legs. They can be hip distance apart. You can put them in what I call constructive rest, which are feet usually mat distance apart, knees knocking in. If you want to have your legs straight, that's fine too. It really doesn't matter. I recommend 3 minutes on each side. You may start to feel that shoulder relaxing a little bit. You may want to feel good to take your arm out. You can go ahead and do that if that's what your body is telling you to do. If you want to keep your hands in a nurturing position on your belly, that's fine too. So this is position number one. So I'm not going to sit up straight because that's a lot of strain on my lower back over a lifetime. Your back's going to get mad at some point. So I'm going to roll over to come back up, and then I'm going to take my blanket, and I'm probably going to leave this at about this height, but I know I'm going to want something for my head. So I'm going to put this back here to get it ready for my head. So we're basically going to move our spine down the blanket. There's 3 or 4 different positions, and then at the end, we're going to do a little relaxation that kind of would be like a neural tube release, or what I call a neural tube release. So the next place I'm going to put this is right kind of along the top of my shoulders, and then I know I want some support for my head. Yeah, that doesn't feel too bad. Your arms can kind of come out along like this, That feels what's best for me. And once again, whatever you want to do with your legs is fine. I feel like I'm going to put my legs straight here now. Oh, that feels good. Okay, so that's position number 3. No, 2. First one is for the neck, then that's 2. Then I'm going to move this down a little bit. That's kind of like me getting my lefts and rights mixed up sometimes during class. You know, you all know what I mean. That's what I usually say when I do that. Now I'm going to take this down. So position number 3 is going to be right at the base of my scapula, my shoulder blades. And here, I still want some head support, but I don't want as much. So I'm going to, oh gosh, yeah. I'm going to just unroll that blanket a little bit. Ah, lovely. And then rolling over again. My next position, and this one actually feels pretty good to me, but it's my understanding that a lot of people don't like it when it's down over your kidneys. And I think that's probably telling you that you need to spend some time there, but you know, maybe lower the height of this, or you know, just build your way up to spending more time in that area. So I'm now going to take this so it's down kind of in between my lower back area and my flanks. And at this point, I feel pretty okay with taking any support for my head away because my shoulders are completely on the floor. Oh. And then I'm going to roll over and show you our last position. And this is where you're going to use your rolled up wash rags. And I'm actually going to roll up a second one. Well, they're not rolled. They're folded and then rolled. Just to show you a couple of options. The second option, if you don't have like a fairly small pelvis, I don't think that you will enjoy. So option number 1, if you do have a relatively small pelvis, you're going to take one of these made up playground balls. I'm going to bridge up and I'm going to place it right on my sacrum. I'm then going to take the second one, lengthen that cervical vertebrae, and place it around the base of my neck. Now once again, whatever you want to do with your legs is fine. This is actually a pretty good stimulation. I can kind of start to feel a little vibration and a little energy moving from my sacrum, actually, along my spine. So you don't want this down on your tailbone. Just make sure it's on the sacrum. And I'll show you in a minute where that's at. So for me, I would probably like this. This is a nice substitute for the other things I use. But you might prefer to use your blankets. So you can use your blankets, and let me just kind of demonstrate or show you where your sacrum is. So the sacrum shares space with your spinal cord and then your pelvis. So it's the place where the two of those come into or share, and it's a triangular shaped bone. So for me, mine is about right here. So option number 2 for this one is to just bring your whole torso, not torso, your whole pelvis up on the blanket. And then same thing, find some extension in that cervical vertebrae, and then take that rolled up wash rag and place it under your head. Nice. And then if you really want to finish this all up with like a super nice relaxing thing, especially if you're doing it before bedtime, then you could go do legs up the wall, either elevated or not, either with the support underneath your neck or not. So I hope this little mini video was helpful, one, to find some self-care for you in both your emotional place and your physical place. So reach out to somebody, call them, video blog them, and then grab these easy props and have a nice relaxing time. Love y'all.